So, hey, Metalheads, Matters a Law radio show and YouTube channel has the huge honor to interview the producer, musician, vocalist, composer, graphic designer, Tehala. Welcome. Thanks
That
a
was a
lot
lot.
for the interview.
No, please,
And
please.
my first question is, I believe your creativity is something above the average, and how all of this happened, and how do you organize it?
I think it's just a need to speak, but I can't speak well, it seems. Some ways to just put out stuff, say stuff, and I believe that music and art in general helps me out. I consider myself as of course a musician and a producer, but for example, for everything that I do, artistically speaking, with visuals, I don't really consider myself as someone above just the amateurism. But it allows me to say something in a different way, and I think that this is just important. A lot of people in the world do not have any catharsis or any way to just express themselves through something else than words. Like running is a catharsis, for example. Boxing, sports, any kind of thing like that is a catharsis as much as creating art is. And and I need this, and I think that I need it to the point that it has become vital and it could be a problem, but I have the huge chance that I got everything here and I can do like kind of everything on my own. So it's yeah, I'm very lucky.
Hmm. Okay. So, 2020 was a great year for you because instead of being bored or complaining about not having chances of playing live and etc., nothing against that. Of course, all of us complained about it, but I mean, you didn't got stuck, um, you know, just complaining. You just went there, and then you had 36 releases. So that's a wonder, and I must say it. So let's speak about them. Yeah. So the most recent release is called Contrast Second. It's from December 2020. So could you speak more about this album, other musicians involved, composition and production part?
Roughly speaking, this album was done 2 years ago. Actually, it's an album that I composed back then for Imber Luminis. The only thing is that in 2019, I played in Milano at the Doomheart Festival with Imber Luminis, and it was kind of a I was asked to play there, and the organizer Alberto was asking me for a couple of years. And the thing is, I really wanted to go live with Umberto Minis, but I never did because I thought that I'm alone. I need a full lineup. Might be a bit difficult. But eventually, I'm like, okay, let's just do this. Let's try to see if it's possible. And we played it. It was a huge success. Well, at least in my heart, it was a success.
Hmm.
And it we were all together, like myself and these four amazing people, and we were just looking at each other after the gig, like we should never stop doing this, like we should do something. And so I decided that I'm going to stop in Luminis as a one-man band, but having it as a full band. And so I wanted to cut this in two and say that everything that is going to be new is going to be for the band, by five people, not just myself. So that includes that release, Contrasts too, which had another name, of course. But in the end, after just listening to it a lot, it really sounded like a more, let's say, harsher version of Contrast the First, which was when Berlin's release. And I decided that I have this moniker, like the Deha project, if you will, on which I put everything that I can do that doesn't fit on any kind of other bands or project that I have, even though I have way too much. But in the end, it was just, it came just naturally. This needs to be released. I really wanted that album to be released. Initially, it was just digital. And when I just put it out, I had the chance that Black Metal Promotion helped me out, so they streamed the whole thing on YouTube, and it's pretty much how the world works right now. Not that I'm not like for it or against it. I always stand by the fact that normally art and talent should be sufficient, But it is true that nowadays there are way too many different like musics or bands and everything like that. It's just too many, and so these musical influencers are doing a job for that. So I had the chance that he was kind enough, just to agree with all this for the album, and of course it worked. In 3 days, I managed to get the actual budget to create a CD. I did a CD. I just put that on pre-orders, and it was sold out on pre-orders, which to me is amazing. It's just big. So it was fantastic from this point of view. Music-wise, it was of course an album which name contrast, of course, wears a very beautiful name because I consider this as very melodic and almost happy music, but it is very contrasted by the fact that it's very fast, riff-oriented black metal, and mixed with these very, very harsh screams, which are pretty much just going full on it. Like this is not the kind of screams that I would be able to do for 1 hour, for example.
Hmm.
It's just too much. Like I will never be able to do a tour with these things. Like a concert maybe, but then I would just be dead. And I really wanted to bring this back, this over fast blasting violence, which I really adore, mixed with these beautiful melodies, or something that I consider beautiful melodies with
Yeah.
happy feelings in a way. But this contrast is really what I was looking for, and it came to something just obvious in my head to invite Chris from Exitium Sui, Ex Dead Space. I met him, of course, a couple of years ago when I was doing this tour with Lebenssucht, my band that I left last year, and it was an awesome small tour, and that's when I met Dead Space, and we pretty much clicked with Chris a lot, and even with the band, but with Click, of course, a bit more. He's a producer as I am. He is an open-minded person as well, in ways that he sings, he screams, he plays a lot of different instruments, way better than I do. And in the end, we just spoke about music. So I produced Exitium Sui's first album. I produced the last Dead Space album. And in the end, it was obvious to me after the invitation to sing on the Dead Space record, like, yeah, please sing for me too. And I think it just had the perfect spot because it was the spot where when I was listening to that album, I was like, it's annoying. Now it starts to become annoying, and he just comes and just bring everything up. It really uplifts the song. I was really happy about it all. And of course, I couldn't do something without giving a tribute to Auster, which is one of my favorite bands in this particular style of music. And yeah, this Dreadful Emptiness is to me a pure masterpiece in the style. And it was very difficult because I'm not Tim. Tim is a fantastic singer. And I had the chance to send him the song when it was finished, and he told me that he really appreciated it. He liked the small things that I've added myself, the double choirs in the end, the blast beats, and all this. So even with that, I was really happy that the guy who actually made the song appreciated it. And it's like, okay, you can release it, like you can give it to people because he's not going to be mad about everything. And I'm super happy about how everything came out and the actual release and the fact that I'm planning to do a second press. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Really, it is.
Yeah. Great. Good. And on Christmas, Christmas, the high and the social distance tour, which I had the chance to take part of it, and it was much fun. That project was open to any musicians who wanted to join singing cover songs. And how has this idea came up your mind?
In the beginning, it was just I wanted to do just a fun EP, 4 or 5 songs, and
Hmm.
really much mixing like Christmas oriented songs. So Last Christmas, All I Want for Christmas Is You, a couple of original songs, and that's it. Just a 5 songs something. But eventually, it really ended up being something way, 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 way bigger because I enjoyed doing this so much. When I started with Last Christmas, because it was the first song that I actually did for the actual thing, I just enjoyed myself so much. And after 3 or 4 hours, I was done with everything. I'm like, this is not enough. I need to do something else. So I went back to my youth and like what are the songs that I really appreciated it, and went a bit like further away from just the Christmas spirit. but I wanted this whole thing to be festive, like completely giving a good opinion, a good mood to everything, to everyone. It's a gift. It's actually the very first release, in my opinion, that is oriented for people. It's not selfish. It's really selfless. It's for people, especially this year, like this year or last year, actually,
Yeah.
but even still now, though.
It's kind of an extension.
Yeah, with everything that happened and the COVID and the fact that people couldn't see each other as they want and everything. I really felt this mood, and I just wanted to give something fun, a good side of nostalgia, and just a feel good album. And yeah, it just went like that, and trying to invite friends or people as much as I could for the end song, the cover of Twisted Sister, because it's a like a stadium hymn that everyone wants to sing and everything. So that's why like we had like more than 20 people I believe were singing on the chorus, and it was fantastic because
Yeah.
everyone was at their place and their home and doing whatever gear they had, and I really wanted like to tell them I don't care about the sound, I'll do something about it, even if it's almost horrible. I can do something. And it made people laugh. It made people happy. And even if it's just for a moment, that's sufficient to me. If I could bring a smile on people's faces, then my goal was okay.
Yeah, yeah. So you did that to me, at least.
Exactly. I'm super happy I did.
Good. And which other releases from 2020 would you like to speak about to introduce them to our audience?
The thing is that I did way too many releases in 2020. 36 is way too much. Way, 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 way too much. Like everything combined, it's just way too much. At the same time, sorry, my fault.
Okay,
At the
okay.
same time, I would like to say why that happened, because when COVID started, a lot of my friends, independent illustrators, tattoo artists, uh, some other people, musicians, a lot of people got caught in this horrible thing that they would not get any money to live. Like it was just over. The world wasn't prepared for that. So there were
Yeah.
no help coming for at least a couple of months or something. And the only thing that I can do well is making music. So I decided that I'm just gonna do as much as I can, finish as much as I can, and release it for free and donation, and taking all the money and giving to these people. Because that's the thing that I wanted to see other artists doing this. And it's not a question of I'm not criticizing anyone. It's you do
Yeah.
whatever you want, but I wanted
Yeah.
to see artists doing that. So I did it myself at my scale, and I managed to get 3,000 euros. I managed to give all of that to a lot of people, and I'm happy that I did because I know that it served them well, and it's not a question of look at what I did. It's a question of now I know that they're going to be okay at least for 1 month with just food, because we were talking about that. It's food, you know,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I think my favorite really. I have two favorite releases. Which are completely fucked up and different. First one is called Of Fire and Infinity, and it was done super quick. In 2 days, it was done. It's maybe too quick, but fuck it. It's a song that started. I wanted it to be a more ritualistic, ambient, and very ethnical song. Think of Heilung, for example, or Vardruna, but not Viking.
Hmm.
And in the end, and then I like the tribal things that I started to put in the song. So that song evolves from like ethnical ritual ambient to tribal ritual ethnic things to techno, electronic techno music, and ends up in atmospheric black metal in one song of more than 30 minutes. And it was super fun because I don't think it was ever done by any band or someone and everything, but I really enjoyed it because to me, it's like the things that I would like to see on TV. I'm very influenced by the older films that I used to watch. And for example, I love the first Mortal Kombat movie, and it has a lot of techno music and these tribal things. So I was really influenced by Mortal Kombat, and I really like the fact that this is still very atmospheric, despite the very harsh blast beats and the techno things. And so Yeah, this is really a song that I really like. And the other album is called How to Despise Humanity in 7 Lessons and a Half. Very long name.
Yeah.
And this is an album that I started just a bit before COVID hits, and I finished it during it. It's an album that is completely avant-garde, if you want. It's pretty much extreme metal to the core, a bit more black metal influenced than death or thrash metal, but it has gothic voice moments, post-punk moments, harsh hip-hop phrasings. It's very satirical as well. It's actually my very first satirical release that I speak about the world and how everything went. And it's, of course, super influenced by not only just humanity and how people behave, but it was as well influenced by the virus and COVID and how people were reacting. And that's when I put that song, which is called Just Stay at Home, which, well, is pretty much talking about COVID, especially. But it's kind of a humoristic release, but at the same time, I really like the fact that to me, it was a very difficult release because I had to train in order to play these very difficult riffs and tons of vocals, tons of vocals. I think there are like 32 different vocals at some point because choirs and everything. And it was fun to organize that and not just do like I do usually, which is I've got my lyrics, I've got my placement, I'm going, I'm screaming, I'm going back, doing a second time, and it's done. Like here, it was really about everything, the hip hop phrasing. So it needed to be perfect and rhythm. So I took more time to really work on that. And that was really fun to do. And the difficulty of it made me like appreciate the effort a bit more. So it was really cool. Yeah. So those are the two albums that I might recommend more in a way.
Okay, cool. And you also have graphic works, very dark and beautiful, the most possible to be seen on Instagram. And you also create logos and artwork for albums and bands, and you have the collaboration of your followers to do it. Yeah, how does it work?
The thing is that, as usual, like even with music, like you saw it on the Panda Christmas album, it's the same. Like at some point, I'm like, if you can, and if you want to sing, come and let's do something. So it's pretty much the same. I'm in visuals. I like dark stuff. That's definitely the case. I can appreciate, of course, more like uplifting stuff and landscapes and this kind of things. But I'm really into dark and pretty much disturbing pictures. I'm, of course, a lover of the female body the right way. Doesn't need to be nude to be beautiful, let's be honest, but I can appreciate any kind of bodies, but I admit that I'm more attracted to artistically speaking to women, and but most of it it's the eyes and the hands, and that's something that I see always when I do retouching of pictures. The eyes are always standing out, or the hands are
Yeah,
very
yeah.
grasping things, or it's a bit dark in a way. And when I just want to propose this to people, it's simply because it's not the fact that I'm bored. It's just the fact that if I can do it and if it makes people happy, same thing. Why the hell not? And there's some people who sometimes they just want to have like another Facebook profile picture. Okay, if I can help, I can help. If you give me a picture and you want to try to see what I can do and make it super dark and disgusting, and okay, why not? I mean, if it could just be nice at some point, and at the same time, it's also a mean to me to express myself, like I told in the beginning, and I really appreciate that. I don't want to put myself in the limits. Of course, I'm not good enough to be professional, even though I'm using sometimes these things on my own releases, but my own releases.
Mhm.
I try to do my best. I know that I'm not good enough in a way to really offer something to people a lot. I know that sometimes a couple of pictures can actually be professional and we can do something about it. Like I've done a couple of times, anonymously speaking, actually, with bands that pretty much do not want me to say that I've worked with them because it's anonymity, and I appreciate that. And I've done band pictures for Monads, for example, a Belgian doom band. I've done this for A Thousand Sufferings, another Belgian black doom band.
Mhm.
So mostly it's just friends and people that I can know, and we just try to do the best. And if it pleases them, I'll be fucking happy.
All right. And do you have any partnership or are you sponsored by someone?
No,
No,
just all alone.
only by your own.
No, I don't. It's not that I do not want to, but I don't want to, let's say, fake what I do with, having like anything or someone. I mean, of course, when I release something via a label, I know there's going to be some PR companies doing their job and everything, which is normal. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm trying to keep it real, like doing as much as I can on my own with my small scale, with just, Bandcamp, Facebook, and that's pretty much it, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not, paying for likes or comments or things like that. I think it doesn't work. I mean, it works in the world, but that my musical and personal integrity are way above that. It's not something that I want to do. I want to keep it as myself. Like if I post something and I see 5 people liking it, I know that if those 5 people are liking, it's 5 people, and I'm happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing someone, that posted something and is getting like I don't know 500 or 600 likes, but doesn't have a like because he
Yeah,
paid for it,
it's
you're really
fake.
going to see it. I'm not interested in that at all
Mm-hmm.
for anything.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Okay, so your current bands, I mean, with other musicians, are Imber Loomis, Coach
Yeah,
of Erin, yes,
yeah.
Acataxis,
Akafexus.
Acataxis, sorry, and most recently, Vulvanest. Yeah, is
Yeah,
it correct?
yeah.
Good. So you can speak more about them if you want.
Well, in terms of live bands, I do believe it's just there's 2 bands actually. It's Cult of Erinias, so the Belgian black metal band that I joined as vocalist and some other stuff a couple of years ago. I think it was 2017. We released an EP and an album with me as vocalist. We did a couple of gigs, I think 3 gigs, and then COVID hit. Uh, and we pretty much just do straightforward, dark, bit dissonant kind of black metal, very, very personal in a way. It's not something that is meant, just to listeners. You would just listen to a black metal album that everyone knows and everyone likes. This is very personal and deep kind of music. The second band, which of course we haven't done anything yet because of COVID, is called Détruire. It's a crust band. So it's not, like metal in a way. So crust hardcore band from here, from Brussels.
Hmm.
I'm composing and doing vocals, but we have a full lineup and we're 2 singers in the band. And right now we are rehearsing, I mean, in a way as much as we could.
Yeah.
And we are planning to record something soon. Wolvenest is a bit of a different story. Wolvenest, I'm in the band. I am in the band. I've always been in the band, but I'm not like 100% there. I'm not touring with them. I'm not doing all the gigs because, in a way, they do not need me. In a way, because I'm a producer and I'm giving them, of course, ideas. So I produced everything and arranged, whatever keyboards, a couple of vocals, choirs, and everything. The thing is, we are going to release the upcoming album very soon, still on Van Records, which is called Temple. And on this album, the first single that came out recently, which is called Disappear, I'm actually the lead vocalist on the song.
Uh-huh.
And it was a bit of a kind of a bet, just to put this as a first single out, because of course, I mean, the lead singer of the band is Shazula, and she's still there, of course, and there are fantastic songs on that album on which she sings. But on that song, I'm the lead singer, and it's been fantastic to get like these reviews of people actually appreciating this kind of goth voice that people really tend to speak about Typo Negative as an influence. Even though, as much as I do appreciate Typo Negative, I'm mostly influenced by like old Gothic bands like Fields of Nephilim or Sister of Mercy. Those are my like sort of my 2 favorite bands. And so yeah, it's fun. It's actually super fun now that people see this song and see that I'm actually a lead singer and that is something a bit different and a bit daring, if you want, for the band. And I'm super happy that the feedback we've had until now is really, really amazing.
Hmm.
Um, Akafexis is a black metal band that we've created in the kind of 2 continents. So South America, America, and myself in Europe. Created this with Danny from Argentina. He's an amazing vocalist, an amazing lyricist. Jake from Mare Cognitum. Don't need any introduction. Mare Cognitum is just amazing. And yeah, we're doing pretty much straightforward atmospheric black metal. And so we've done an album 2018, I think. And now we're working on a second album. And I'm super happy about like whatever we're going to do right now. It's really going to be even better compared to the first. Even though the first album is nice, but I know that every band says this, like, yeah, my next album is going to be better. But yeah, I can tell you it's going to be just a top notch. So yeah, I'm super, super happy about it all. Definitely.
Okay.
And in case there is another band that I'm also a part of, which is called Malady. It's a German band of avant-garde, extreme progressive metal, pretty much black metal influence, but it goes completely nuts. So in one song, you can have extreme stuff, then jazz, then electronic, and everything. Like the actual composer is sick. He's sick and fantastic. He's one of my best friends. And it's called Maladie, which means sickness in French. I can't even explain what it is. It would just take too long or not enough. So if anyone wants to risk themselves into one of the most fucked up music I've ever taken part in, Maladie, any kind of album is just sufficient. Here you go.
Okay. All right. Maybe you can send me a link and then I can let this on the description of this video as well. Then the people can
Absolutely.
have the chance to know it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. And which are your solo projects?
Well, way too many. Way too many. But let's just speak about the ones that are the most active in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not pretty much solo project, but Slow is a atmospheric funeral doom band that I have with Laura, who is doing bass, a couple of vocals, and composing as well, and all the lyrics. This is a band that I'm super happy about how everything turned out, because I'm a fan of Shape of Despair. Like, it's actually pretty much my favorite band. And despite the fact that I know them and they became friends, and so we can speak a lot about everything. I remember that when I released the fourth album of Slow, when I was still alone, they released Monotony Fields. And Monotony Fields is such a masterpiece, and I listened to my album, and my album sucks. It's so not good compared to what they've put out, even if it's different. But in sound, in inspiration, in the feelings, everything was 1,000 times better. And it became some kind of fuel to myself to do something. And so this is when Ocean came out after 1 year of work, and that I actually asked Laure to help me out. And yeah, that album was a good success. Actually, I'm super proud of it. We actually just released a second press of the vinyls of the album. I'm super happy because they look so fantastic. And so yeah, we're still working with this band slowly, of course, which is of course the name of the band. But anyway, I've got Nadir with 3Ds, which is it's hip hop and DSBM.
Okay.
So pretty much of a weird mixture of modern hip hop and metal influences as well. Very deep, very personal, very teenage angst kind of feeling. And it's also very, very difficult to get into. But I think people could get into it if they listen to, Ghostemane, for example, or Bones, or Suicide Boys, which are pretty much in this cloud rap kind of scene. I have Merda Mundi, which is a black metal solo band. Still working on it. There's going to be some cool stuff happening soon enough if everything goes to plan. It's black metal, and it doesn't need any more than that. It's just black metal. I've got The Penitent, which is pure depressive black metal. That I composed a lot for that in the past 2 years. I haven't released a lot. I just released 2 albums, but it's pretty much what I've always wanted in this kind of music. So going back to what Hypothermia Trist from Czech Republic were doing back then, you know,
Mhm.
repetitive trance going, like really making people going in full trance with these depressive moods and these melodies and the fact that you just drown in it. So that's pretty much what I wanted to do. So yeah, it's very long songs again. And yeah, there's so many other bands. It's going to be way too long. So let's
Okay.
just keep it like that. And of course, yeah, they had the same thing that where's my name? It's where I put everything
Yeah.
that I want, and then there's a tons of different styles. So
Yeah.
to who
Okay.
want to discover that, have fun.
Cool. So I personally can feel much sensibility from your work, and you develop it in a very beautiful way. So how are you planning to use your talents in 2021? So which are your plans for this year?
Well, I have a lot of things happening. There's so last year I have released three albums of a series called A Fleur de Peau, which is it's kind of a very yeah, it's like kind of an autobiography put in music. So it speaks about my own emotions and things that I could speak about, and at the same time I do not want to. It's very personal, and it tells of a story about me myself at the specific moments of my life. And so I released three of them. This year should normally see at least one, hopefully two. If everything goes to plan, we will have the two finished by then.
Mhm.
And I'm really, really happy about, you know, how everything is also going. So there's also amazing guest musicians that are coming with me to. I can't wait to show all of this, but I gotta keep my mouth shut, which is very annoying. I'm going to release also some other stuff with the Deha name if everything goes to plan. There's a release which is still not there yet, but I can tell you that it's going to be some kind of very torture doom influenced kind of funeral doom, like Warm Flame, Black Bile, this kind of sick doom.
Mhm.
It should come actually by the end of the month. Soon enough, if everything goes to plan, double vinyl release of Cruel Worlds via Roadburn Records. I'm super happy because Roadburn Records is in my heart. So I'm super proud that this is going to happen. I'm going to do also, if everything also goes to plan, it depends on the budget, a couple of other releases that I'm also keeping a bit secret, but it's going to be a bit more doomy. If everything goes to plan, also a release on a very good black metal label, and it's going to be a full black metal album within the Deha name, and it's going to be an hymn to French black metal. Um, of course, I'm still working on stuff that can come out at some point. Like I think yesterday I released a 20 minutes techno song. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, and because I just finished it, I was super happy that I finished it. So here we go. I still want to work on some other stuff. I mean, a lot of people were really surprised with the Pandy Christmas thing. So a lot of people asking me to keep on doing a cover album at some point, but not only just people, but also musicians are coming to me and telling me that they want to work with me, and this is really really cool. So I think I'm going to try to do something like that by the end of the year. Also, I still want to do something a bit more like non-metal. Like 2 years ago, I released some kind of pop album. This last year, so a couple of like 1 month ago, I released a post-punk gothic rock kind of album called Obstruct. And I also want to keep on doing this, doing some kind of non-metal things because I appreciate that. And for the rest, I don't know. I mean, I hope to collaborate more, but if everything is okay, this year should be a very good year professionally wise to me with the studio. And I think like this is very important to me. So my releases, as much as I want to put out stuff, I have no idea what's going to happen. I
Okay.
just have too many things to say, too many things that are ready to be out. That at the same time, I don't want to repeat the same mistake that I might have done in the past. But I realized that putting 36 album last year was not a mistake. If people don't want to listen to them, no problem. It's not, I don't ask people to listen to them.
Hmm.
It did good to me.
Yeah.
It really did good to me. If people listened and appreciated it, and it was the case, then I'm happy. And that's it. Yeah, I mean, I can start to have a reputation of someone that releases way too much music. Cool. It's fine. I
Yeah.
don't care. Just have a listen and you tell me if you like it or not.
Yeah.
And I'm not asking for people to, just to listen or whatever. If an artist that I would love, for example, would release, I don't know, 20 albums, I would be really fucking happy. Please, David Townsend, hear me out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Good. So, which are your main metal influences as a musician?
Metal influences. I would say, well, black metal is my love.
Okay.
I am I am in love with black metal as the music, as the lifestyle, the essence, everything which revolves around black metal. I think that I'm going to say that everything that happened in the 90s touched me a lot. So everything that started from, of course, the typical names from Mayhem, Dark Throne, Emperor, all these bands, that started there. But not only, I've got my influence with like fast blast beat with Dark Funeral from Sweden, um, French black metal as well, especially the Black Legions, also from the 90s, where it was so dark and so like it was almost badly done. But the thing is that the mood that was there was so intense, and so amazing, and so just something which speaks to me a lot. Um, So I would say I can't say like bands or names or something, but I would say black metal in a general way pretty much influenced me. Now I'm someone that loves melodies, any kind of melodies. So I'm gonna go and say power metal too. And when I mean power metal, like you speak to me when you speak to me about Blind Guardian, when you give me um, Rhapsody, like Dawn of Victory is one of my favorite albums of all time. Uh, but give me Iron Maiden too. I'm not a big fan of everything. I'm more of someone that actually likes the overrated stuff with Fear of the Dark and these things. But
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, it's something that also speaks to me, especially the Book of Souls. Actually, that double album really speaks to me. At the same time, I'm a fan of anything which is weird, weird progressive, or anything which can be a bit annoying. So give me Dream Theater every day. Give me Neil Morse. Neil Morse is one of my favorite artists of all time. And I know it's counterproductive of my black metal background, but he's a born again Christian. And the thing is, his music are so uplifting and happy. It just it's my own Panty Christmas, and it makes me super happy. And I love what he's doing because he's a over talented musician. And like Ishan from Emperor, same thing. It's one of my heroes. Devin Townsend, one of my heroes. Super talented fucking assholes who can just spit in the microphone and do fantastic shit, whatever they do. That those are things that influence me. And of course, Shape of fucking Despair. I cannot live without Shape of Despair. Those guys put me when I was 15 years old down in the fucking grave of doom metal, and I would never be who I am without them. And I am so happy and proud that I can call them friends. It's amazing. Those guys are my influences, and I'm telling them fart jokes. It's fantastic. I love them. I love them for their music, for their personality, for the influence, everything they've done to me. It's amazing.
Yeah, so nice. Good. And which are your influences out of metal?
Eminem, Eminem,
Eminem.
fucking
Oh.
Eminem is one of my favorite artists. So anything which is Eminem, and then I would add the um, West Coast of American hip hop. So NWA, Dr. Dre, Snoop, these guys, like everything from the 90s. The Chronic is one of the best albums that was ever done. Whether it is the one of the 90s, whether it's the one of the 2000s, it's really something that also live with me. I'm a child of the streets. I've lived in one of these hoods, you can call them like that. So I grew up with hip hop. I grew up with these things that were talking about social miseries that I was in when I was youngsters. And
Mhm.
so it's it has always been such a big influence on me, especially the message, the message of the music has always been something to me.
Mhm.
Um, Now I'm gonna go with classical music, of course. Um, I'm gonna go with Beethoven because my favorite music of all time he did is, of course, the first movement of the Moonlight Sonata that everyone knows.
Mhm.
It's my favorite pieces of the whole world. Um, I could go with Chopin too because the nocturnals that he did, one of the best piano pieces I've ever heard. The full Requiem of Giuseppe Verdi is the best Requiem as far as I'm concerned. As much as everyone thinks about the Mozart one, but it's still happy. I love Lacrimosa of Mozart. It's the best pieces is done, but it's too happy for me. I need my
Mhm.
darkness. And Verdi did such a
Okay.
fantastic, epic fucking darkness.
Mhm.
Um, and then, of course, there's some other influences, but I don't think a lot of people would know them because this is pretty much like French speaking oriented. But there's a Belgian artist called Jacques Brel who is to me everything. He's he was a tortured person, but he never put it like that's just the way he was. And he would just sing until his voice would crack, not giving a shit about whatever he was doing. He was living the stuff to the maximum. And if the song was happy, it was smiling. He was making you smile. And that's the thing which to me is above everything. When someone makes you smile and makes you cry with music, but he does too. That's the thing.
Yep.
And I you know me, I do emotional music.
Mhm.
So I cannot be unmoved by such genius. So yeah, and of course maybe some other artists, but also a bit more in the French speaking scene. So might not speak to a lot of people.
Okay. All right. Okay, now I have a situation that it's like a classical situation on Matters Law. Okay, so you are a bad guy, got in trouble, and had life imprisonment as a sentence, and you can have nothing with you but three albums that you can listen for the rest of your life because one of the guards of the prison is a nice guy and give you them as a gift. So which albums would you choose and why?
Tough.
Yeah.
I never liked such question. Oh, that's tough. Oh hell.
Yeah, I know.
I cannot choose between Vislisetar Os of Burzum or De Mysteries Dom Satanas of Mayhem and Transylvanian Hunger of Dark Throne, and that's just my first choice. Oh god. I think I will go to Vislisetar Os of Burzum because of the influence and everything. I don't condone the guy's acts, whatever. Okay, let's just be honest. But the music of that album is it's just a masterpiece. Um, Chronic, Dr. Dre Chronic, the one of the 90s. Definitely, I would not be able to live without an album. And oh Christ, I don't know. So this is really so difficult to me. Hmm.
I know, to me as well.
I would believe that in this case, I would take an album of mine to remember who I am. And I think I would take the Ave Maria of Idal, which is to me the best things that I've ever done.
Okay.
It's an album that you need to listen. You can't speak about that album in a way. It's too deep, too personal. So I think I would take this as well because I it's been what 10 years since I've done that album, and I've changed. Of course, I'm different in almost every way, but the album reminds me who I am, where I'm coming from, and it puts me down to the place that I am, that I will ever be. So I think I will take that one as a third choice.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And to finish our interview, would you like to leave a message to your fans who are watching or listening to us?
Uh, I just hope that everyone is okay. I just want them to just be safe, be well, be not sick, anything that they just care about themselves, about everything else. Um, I will not stop releasing music, so get ready. 2021 is going to be a bitch of a year too. Um, keep on being open-minded. Keep on being, listening to any kind of music, but to also sing art, to just find a catharsis, do something. Do not put yourself down without a purpose. If you want to put yourself down, you need a purpose. You need to being brought back by yourself. I want people to be a bit more self-conscious about their own powers, about what they are, what they're worth, so they can elevate themselves and not just become a part of a mass which does bullshit capital events and some stuff. Uh, in my opinions, in my opinion, it's just not okay. We grew to become some kind of weak people, but I know we are not weak people. It's not possible. We are not weak people because we listen to this kind of music and we live with these kinds of music. So it is not easy to listen to Shape of Despair for fuck's sake. So once you're finished, you're not just down. They brought some shit from yourself down to the back up, so you are feeling okay. They helped yourself. They fucking healed yourself. So that's what I would wish to people, so they can heal, so they can be better, so they can just be better. And if it is through my music, my goal is done. I would be the happiest person in the whole world if this happens. Maybe it did, maybe it did not. I don't care. I just want the world to be okay. And of course, I want assholes to die. Apart from that,
Sure.
that would just be it. I spread a message of black metal and love, and I'm never gonna stop. So that would be what I would wish them. And of course, an amazing and a big thank you to everyone. We're still there. Some of them after 15 fucking years, they're still there. Thanks to people like you helping me out, spreading the
Oh,
world, especially for your presence on the Panda Christmas song, especially for the thing that we are just talking as friends. We're not talking as a artist to interview. What we're talking about as friends, and this is what the world needs. And so
for sure.
I'm grateful from all of these. I'm so grateful, and I wish I could give more to the world.
Yeah. So I'm really thankful as well. Thanks a lot for the interview. I love it. Great. So thanks once more, Neha. Thanks you all for watching and listening to us, and stay heavy.